And welcome along to live coverage of the British Grand Prix, round 10 of the Championship here in Isla 1 on the PS4. I'm joined as always by Mark, otherwise known as Ali Monda, and this is going to be a cracking race, isn't it, Mark? We've got damp conditions for qualifying, and we're hearing some damp conditions potentially at the end of the race as well, with a dry start.
Well, we're here at the home of British Motorsport, and the always huge crowds here at Silverstone, and this is always one of those tracks where we see some great overtaking action. So whatever the conditions, I've been really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, well, everyone out there on the intermediate tyre at the moment, and we are watching VSR Blizzard at the moment, who of course is really starting to put his foot down and run away, you could argue, in this World Championship. He has won 5 races out of the opening 9. That is over half of them. That's a magnificent performance so far this season, and that was after the first 3 races were won by different drivers. We were expecting a really tense, tight World Championship battle. It had been, you could argue, up until the French Grand Prix, and all of a sudden Blizzard winning in France, winning in Austria, Mark, and his championship rivals have been falling all around him, haven't they?
Yeah, so when we were after Canada, Blizzard, crashed out of the race, and then it all got very close, but then it's all fallen apart for his rivals since then. And yeah, I mean, if you look at the statistics backing him up, if it carries on like this, this championship could be sewn up before we even finish the European races. Such has been the class that Blizzard has shown so far, while the rest of his rivals have either been having incidents or squabbling with each other, with Blizzard running off into the distance, as he did to an extent in Austria last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's keep an eye on Blizzard then. We wait on the first lap time to be put on the board with everyone, as we thought, out there on the intermediate tyre. Just drizzling out there, the classic British weather, delivering once again, Mark, isn't it? It's just, it never shines here. I wasn't very rarely, I actually did this season in real life, and that was the only one. I made this joke actually to James, my commentary partner, on Friday. I actually had a suntan, and I'm ginger, believe it or not, this summer. So there you go. That gives you an idea. But very rarely do we get lovely conditions. Very rarely do we get lovely conditions at Silverstone, and here we have the damp conditions. But Blizzard's gone quickest of all with a 1:37.0, only 2 times on the board. He's exactly 1 second quicker than the effort from Gonanen. And Blizzard, well, we spoke about him, his lead in the championship is 52 points now, so over 2 race victories, and it's going to take something very special to reel that in, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we're entering a crucial period of the season now. We've got 5 European races to go before we head off to Singapore. And, these are all sort of classic F1 tracks come up. We've got Silverstone, Hockenheim, the Hungaroring, Spa-Francorchamps, and then Monza to finish off before we head to Singapore. So I think this will be a crucial part of the season. So if Blizzard has a similar gap to that before we even get to Singapore, then it's going to be really difficult for the rest to stop him.
Yeah, exactly. The gap might stay similar, but the races tick by. If they can keep it similar, it's not enough, because of course there's less points available after every Grand Prix. They need to do better than that. As we watch TTG Poe now, and he is another man that's really picked up in form in recent weeks, hasn't he, in the Renault. 4 points finishes so far this season, 3 of them coming successively in the last 3 races, and a 3rd place and a 4th place in France and Austria. He really has just really raised his game, hasn't he, to get up towards the sharp end of the action. They'll be hoping to do the same again here.
Yes, well, we didn't see much of him early on when he started this season. He had 3 retirements from the first 4 appearances we saw of him. But yeah, all of a sudden, as we've reached the European races, he's really started to show some speed. He just seems to get a few too many penalties, which deny him the top places. But yeah, who knows? I mean, potentially, he could be a race winner as we carry on if he continues this sort of rate of improvement.
Yep, well, Paul coming into the pits decides not to go again, so let's have a look, see if we can find June coming round the final corner, who's currently 2nd in the championship, in the rear end there for June, sliding all over the place and not looking good at all there. So June, the Spaniard, 2nd in the championship, 1 win this season. He actually went on a run between Bahrain and Spain, where he was on the podium, 1st, then 3rd, then 2nd, and since then it's been a bit patchy. 11th in Monaco, 3rd in Canada, and then a DNF in France, and an 8th place in Austria. The last 2 races have both had rain, or been rain affected in France and Austria, and we believe that this rain in qualifying will lead to more rain at the end of the Grand Prix in the race, not at the start, so that'll be one to watch. I think we should talk about the possibility of the hard compound tyre being used, Mark, because we very rarely see it. In fact, it's the only time all season, as you've mentioned off air, that we will see it it's unlikely that people would use it, but given we're expecting rain at the end of the race, would it make sense to use it to try and run with that tyre until the rain comes?
Well, I just saw June flying off from the exit of Copse, but he just got down. Yes, I mean, the hard tyre. I mean, this track in the dry is a pure one-stop, about as pure one-stop as you can get, because you lose such a ton of time in the pit lane. You don't want to do a two-stop. You'll be absolutely nowhere. That's a 40 seconds here, pit loss time. But yeah, the hard compound, you know, those ice blue tyres, it's the only track on the Canada where you'll see them, and with good reason. There's not a lot of performance in them. They'll last forever, but there's not a lot of lap time in them. But yes, with rain at the end of the race, we could see everybody opting for them and just trying to get to the end for that rain. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the strategies are, because they're a lot slower than the softs and the super softs.
Yeah, well, we'll see how they go. So Flippy now, let's keep an eye on him as he goes racing. And he looks like he's got a really high ballast on that Mercedes, because his car is sliding all over the place. Through Copse Corner he was drifting, then through Maggots and Beckett's, and you know, the higher the ballast, the more tricky it is to keep the car on track. And I know, Mark, that you actually do a little bit of league racing, so can you just tell us that on a track like this, it's not really one that you maybe want to run too high a ballast because of the rear end sliding in high speed corners, is it?
No, there's so many high speed sections. I mean, the ballast can really catch you out if you have too much of it, especially through Maggots and Beckett's. And Stowe as well. The back end can just really kick out. So you want to, you know, I would say for this track you really don't want it any higher than 8. Any higher than that and you are probably going to be spearing off the track at some point.
Yeah, well, thanks for that insight. Well, with 9 minutes to go in the session, roughly, we've got Nowek now going back onto top spot. Now, Nowek was second in France. He did well there, not so good in Austria. He's a man that we know is capable of some great pace at times. He's just come into the pits, in fact, so we'll move on and see if we can pick someone else up. But Nowek up at the top now by 0.4 of a second actually on pole by. Now that is quite a distance. So and especially ahead of someone like VSR Blizzard. So the lap time slowly starting to tumble. Is that maybe a sign of the track drying out with Nowek doing his lap a little later? Or is he genuinely just got some stunning pace here? That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks pretty slidey out there soon. The rain has been sort of a steady sort of pace since the beginning, so I'm not really sure whether the rain's easing off. Maybe it's just they're getting more acclimatized and, you know, there's a bit more rubber on the track. Maybe there is a distinct racing line still despite the rain, so staying on that, getting a good lap time seems to be the case. So I reckon we'll see the lap times go down a bit more. I mean, if it were to dry out suddenly, then we could see a real shift in the order by the end.
Yep, absolutely. We could see that as and now pick up Bugatti, who seems to be sliding everywhere there. And as you've mentioned, really struggling for any kind of traction, any kind of grip, was Bugatti there. And he, of course, last time out, was praying for that final World Championship point, hoping to finally get on the board. And, well, he had a bit of heartbreak, didn't he, on the final lap of the race. Made a mistake or had a crash or something along those lines. We never actually saw it, I don't think, on the camera. And I think down to the penalties, he actually lost that final point by a very small margin indeed, didn't he?
I mean, to be fair to him, I think he had a really solid day's work. But yeah, it just sort of fell apart for him in the final few laps. He picked up a few penalties and he's really struggling at the moment. Just went wide at Copse, which is a very tricky corner in the wet, actually, because you have to really throw it in there. You can't go slow, otherwise you lose so much time. So it's quite a high-risk corner, that one.
Yeah, well, he's backed out of this one, has Bugatti. Let's pick up Blizzard, who is on another quick lap. His pole has now gone third quickest in a 37.1, showing that he is continuing that pace. Lambo now, 37.0 goes second. Is this showing that the track is drying a little bit, perhaps? Or they're just getting up to speed? We'll find out as Blizzard rounds the final corner and does a 36.4 and smashes the time by Nowek. So the lap time's coming down, perhaps as they dry a little maybe, or the driver's just getting a little bit more grip, a little bit more confidence, because you find quite often, Mark, that the drivers try their best to do as much time practice in the dry, because it's more often dry than wet. So sometimes they don't do any practice at all, and they focus fully on dry running. So maybe that explains why the times are starting to tumble rather than the track conditions improving.
Yes, now Blizzard's actually got a bit of a problem here. He's just run out of fuel with just over 6 minutes session to go. It's one of the longest tracks on the Canada, so he's going to be in a bit of a race against time to get back to the pits, and well, he's going to be pushing it. But if the track continues to get better, then he may not end up in his current position. He may tumble right down the order. So Possibly a mistake from the McLaren driver, we shall wait and see, but he's got a long way to go to get back to the pits, pretty much half a lap at 70 miles an hour, which is fast on our normal roads in these conditions, but in an F1 car, it's snail's pace.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how it goes then. Can he get back to the pits in time? And especially if the track begins to dry out, that could be a bit of a struggle for VSR Blizzard. Apologies if you can hear any music in the background of my audio, because Santa's just pulled up outside in his sleigh, and I'm not joking, on the back of a trailer. So if you can hear that music, I do apologise. I do apologise for that one. But Lewis now has gone quickest of all, a 1 minute 36.4. So there you go, the world champion, who's in a bit of an indifferent, a pretty horrendous championship defence, it has to be said, and finally showing some pace. He showed a flash of it, wasn't he, back in France, before he was undone with the unfortunate pit stop glitch. So Lewis now going quickest of all, and can he take this to Blizzard today? Because he's looking pretty good at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I was on board with Lewis just now. It was a really nice lap. Only slightly ahead of Blizzard at the moment, of course, but yeah, he's due some luck. You know, he had that horrendous race at France where he got stuck in the pit lane, and we had more of that last week. So hopefully none of the pit crews on strike today, because it's been absolutely ridiculous on that front recently.
Yeah, it sure has. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we don't want to see anything like that. Lewis, of course, has struggled. It's not only that's put him on the back foot. Several did not finishes or did not starts, and just poor afternoons. He's only actually finished 3 races this season. It's not been a good start to his championship defence. As we get towards the halfway point of the season, it's really, well, pretty much over really for Lewis in that sense. It has to be said already. As he comes into the pits on this occasion, he won't be completing that current lap. Let's see if we can pick someone else up then. With 4 minutes to go in the session, Hume has managed to go 4th quickest. Not in a quick one at the moment. Let's see if we can find anyone else out there. Matt Tibos, currently P7, is on a lap at the moment, and I think it's a relatively quick one. What can he do? But we saw Hume last week, good in qualifying, but then when the rain came in the race, he just went backwards, didn't he, from the get-go, and he doesn't like these damp conditions, but he's gone 5th quickest here in qualifying, which is a reasonable effort given how much he struggled last week, didn't he?
Yeah, it's not bad. P5. Blizzard's made it back to the pits, so I think he will be able to get back out and set up a time. I think he just about made it in time. But no, yeah, Hume, you know, in the dry, he's had some sensational pace at times this season, particularly that victory at Bahrain, and then the 2 second places at Baku in Spain. But yeah, it's been very patchy for him. You mentioned it earlier on in the stream. You know, the last 4 races at 11th place, a podium, a non-finish in 8th place, and you know, if you can't get sort of consistency going, it's no wonder in recent races Blizzard has got such a gap to him.
Yeah, of course, as Matt goes slightly quicker, about 400s quicker than his previous best. Stays P9. Actually, he just moved down to P9 because someone's just moved up. I think it may have been Leon moving up to P7. Poe now P8. As it's starting to get a little bit clustered there, isn't it? On a 37-0, you've got 3 cars there: Hume, Lambo, and Leon, all on a 37-0. So Matt goes round again. Neo, let's see what he can do. P10, a fine debut last time out. Runner up to his teammate, of course, in Austria, VSR Blizzard. P10 at the moment here, around, what's that, 8/10 off the pole time set by Lewis till this point. He's not on a quick lap at the moment, so if he wants to continue that fine form he's been showing, he'll have to lift it up a notch. So CC Brain on an out lap, Calic Rist is out there, Francis is out there. Is he on a quick one at the moment? Let's keep an eye on VSR Francis. Let's see what he can do. And he, of course, did the hot lap this week, and of course did it in the Braun car. Something a little bit different for you guys. If you're watching on Twitter, be sure to check it out. The hot lap of Silverstone. VSR Francis in the Braun as he rounds the final corner up to the line. Currently P14, and he stays P14. I think he found 3/10 of a second there, but I presume at some point he's cut the racetrack. So let's get back towards the guys near the front of the field as Cliffy comes out of the pits. We've got Lewis, Blizzard, Nowek on an out lap. Goranen still in the pits, and I don't think Goranen's going to have time to get back out on track, is he? That's not good at all.
No, that's not good at all. I think he might have had a similar issue where he ran out of fuel, but just couldn't quite get back in time. So yeah. I mean, he's got a bit of a gap, so if the rain doesn't ease off, he might be alright in the top 10, but if it suddenly starts to ease off, yeah, he could be tumbling out of the top 10. Cliffy's on an out lap. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he just pulls back into the pits and starts in 20th and does one of his famous alternate strategy races, which might be difficult actually, because everyone's going to have 3 choice tyres, and if everyone's going to try and get to the end of the race, everyone may just start on the same tyre to go as long as possible.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, the Cliffy, Lormans and CJ all in the 39s. That's 2 seconds off the guy in front of them as CJ retires. So I presume they were deliberately not doing representative times to try and do that different strategy. But as you say, everyone might do it because of what the weather says. But let's keep an eye on TTG Lambo. I think he's going to be the first man in the top 6 to complete a representative time at the end of this session, or complete a time that's going to be near the front. Obviously, he's already said a representative one, but another lap at the end as Bugatti retired, CJ's retired, Leon, Gonanen, Lickle have all retired. So Lambo P6 at the moment. Has he got any more time in his pocket? He crosses the line.
Oh my!
And stays P6. What have you seen?
Oh well, Joom was starting his flying lap, and there was a stricken Red Bull right in the middle of the track. I'm guessing that was Bugatti who'd retired the car, and it ghosted, but it just spooked him completely, just put him into a spin. So that is Joom's qualifying session over right there.
Poe's gone P4 then, so not good for Joom as he drops to 6th place. Good effort there from Poe, he's carrying that good form. Nowek is out there, Blizzard is out there, Lewis as well. I think Lewis might be the last man to see the checker flag here. So Lewis on a 36.4 at the moment. Here comes Nowek, currently 3rd quickest of all in that Toro Rosso, getting his way through the final couple of corners. Lormans is right in front of him. Is he going to be losing time for that? Lormans himself on a quick lap. Look at this from Nowek. He crosses the line and does a 36.2, but he must have obviously invalidated it somewhere, and that is why he stays P3. Blizzard now heading towards the end of the lap. He's got a 52-point lead in the World Championship. His main rivals in the championship currently behind him on the grid. Only Lewis in front, the reigning champion at the moment. Here comes Blizzard. Can he get himself ahead of Lewis at the moment here at the end of the session? No, he can't. Ooh. He stays P2. Things looking good for Lewis at the moment. Poe's backed out from P4. Joom is going again, is he? No, he's on a slow one. Lambo, 2/10 up on his previous best, so Lambo has a chance here to move up into the top 5 at the very least. Here comes the Haas driver, TTG Lambo, round the final corner. He's currently 7th. Where is he now? He improves to 6th. So Joom down 1. Lewis still out there. Let's see if we can pick him up. He's coming round the final corner. Does he extend his advantage further? Oh, look at that! 36.0. Almost half a second in front of everyone else, and Cliffy has managed to go 3rd quickest. It's all changing at the end of the session. Anyone else out there able to do anything special? No. It was all about Lewis. What a late effort in the session from the world champion, and he's finally showing up in season 4. What a lap.
Yeah, brilliant lap. Sometimes at times he does have a bit of an edge over Blizzard in these conditions, and he's proven it once again. Nearly half a second to the championship leader there.
Well, there you go. Great effort from Lewis. A few people. He's back to his very best, and can he now maintain this form in the race and going forward? Because he was threatening to do it in France, and as we mentioned earlier on, it was not his fault. The reason for his retirement, and to be fair to him, back in France, you would have fancied him to win that race, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he was looking very good in that race, at least to be in the top 3. And yeah, his Red Bull team did a Daniel Ricciardo Monaco 2016-esque incident with the tyres. No,
yeah, go on.
I'll let you go for it. Qualifying results to do it.
Well, there you go. Lewis has gone quickest of all, 1 minute 36.0. Blizzard 2nd, Cliffy with a late effort to go 3rd. Nowek P4, it's Poe P5, 3,000s between them. But look further down there, P9, P10, P11, P12 and P13, all within a 10th of a second. Incredibly tight between those guys. I think they were all on a 37.0. What was that? 5 cars all on a 37.0 further down the field. We'll give a proper rundown of the order and the tyre compounds in a few moments' time, but that just shows you how tight the field is further down in the midfield battle, doesn't it?
Yes, and with that in mind, I get the sense we could get some really awesome action in the midfield today, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. Yeah,
well, there we go. There's the beautiful weather here at Silverstone. We were expecting dry conditions to start this Grand Prix. We are hearing rumours of a little bit of rain, a sprinkle coming later on in the race, and given that everyone qualified on the intermediate tyre, they now have 3 tyre choice for this race. The tyre compounds for this Grand Prix: the softs, the mediums and the hards. It's the most durable options available on the game, actually. The most durable set of tyres you can go for in the game. Of course, you could have elected for super hards, but they were never used this season in F1. So Silverstone, the only time when the hard tyre is brought out, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see with rain expected later if anyone does go for that ice cold blue hard tyre. But here we go, the formation lap is about to begin. Let's have a look at the tyre compounds. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Cliffy has done it. Hold on, let's see if we can get these tyre compounds up. Nowek, Lewis, Blizzard, Nowek, Lickle, Frisky. There you go. 5 drivers have plumped for the hard tyres. Cliffy's gone for mediums. Wow, a real mixture in there, Mark. How do you read that one? That looks brilliant for the race.
Yeah, I mean, that is an absolutely amazing mix of compounds. Now, the one quirk of the ice cold tyres is that they do take a few laps to get up to temperature, so they're going to find it really difficult in these hot conditions to start the race to get off the line. So, you know, Cliffy may be able to get a jump on these two at the start, but watch out for those in P5, 6 and 7. They could really put the top 4 under pressure right from the start, although they'll be pitting a lot sooner, of course.
Yeah, we're not actually sure 100% on the delta time between the hard tyre and the soft, but I mean, given how slow it is and how unlikely it was to be used going into the weekend, it must be quite a bit. But of course, with that long pit lane, as you've mentioned already in qualifying, you don't want to be doing an extra pit stop when the rain comes later on. So it might work in their favour, but certainly the opening exchanges, this is going to be exciting. It just looks so weird looking at cars with blue sidewalls in dry conditions, doesn't it? It's so strange. But we've got Lewis on pole. We've got Blizzard alongside him. Cliffy is third on the medium tyre. He's gone for the kind of, I don't know, it's kind of the route that the majority of the field have went for. Nowek's on the hard. Gornan's gone soft. Lambo's gone soft. Rain in 8th, Jim in 9th are on the mediums. Francis has gone for the medium. Matt Tibos, medium tyres. Directrix, okay, strange name. He's on the soft tyre. Leon on the soft. Neo medium. Calic medium. Lickle hard. And then Bugatti, it's me, Lormans and CJ rounding off the grid with different choices there. Soft, medium, and hard. A real split, and this is probably going to be an exciting race. I mean, it really is set up to be a cracker. It's a strange dynamic that I don't think we've ever come across so far, and we're going into an unknown here, aren't we?
Well, I think everyone should fasten their seatbelts and have their popcorn ready. This is going to be a cracker. Well,
here we go. Hard tyres on, several cars. Who would have thought it? The 5 red lights are about to come on. It's round 10 of the championship. Lewis and Blizzard on the front row, on the hard tyres. How will they get off the line? We're going to find out right now as we go racing at Silverstone. Lights out and away they go. It's Blizzard and Blizzard and Lewis going side by side on the turn 1, and Blizzard's got the jump. He's through already on the world champion. The championship leader takes the move on the world champion. Here comes Cliffy now, up the inside on those quicker medium tyres. He's now on the outside as he goes through the loop section. Carnage in the background. One of the Saubers off the road. Front wing flying. It's Blizzard in the lead. Cliffy's got the jump on Lewis already on those medium tyres. As they go down the Wellington Straight, there's more carnage off in the background. A Sauber once again right off into the wall, and it's Doom. It's Doom, I think, the World Championship contender Doom in the wars. But Blizzard with the perfect start, Mark.
Oh, absolutely brilliant, man. You know, Cliffy, he's hoping to get the earlier rain, but he made it more. Lewis really bogged down, couldn't get through the gears, and that's why Blizzard was able to jump on him. But yeah, there was a lot of contact at the back. I think we'll see Silver injured. Oh, and there's a car out already, and that's one of the Force Indias, the Retrix, getting caught out, cops. And there's cars going everywhere. They're using all of the runoff area. Yeah, cars really struggling to get themselves into gear. Obviously, that qualifying yesterday didn't give them the chance to dial themselves into the circuit in dry conditions. So many of the cars on hard tyres, they will have so much less grip than they would expect. None of them will have done race simulations on the hard tyre. Few of them will have even done it on the medium tyre. The majority would go for the soft tyre, you would feel. And look at Gornan on the soft tyre, diving down the inside of Lewis, nearly able to make that move. And I think there could be at least 1.5 seconds, that's what I'm hearing in the chat, between the soft and the hard, as Blizzard goes on top with 0.4 of a second, the gap between him and Cliffy. Lewis is third, but Gornan is looking really racy behind that Red Bull. He's going to go steaming up the inside, surely. He is. Into Village they go. Gornan versus Lewis, and somehow still Lewis holds on, but look at Lambo, he's looking racy as well, and Gornan with a slightly poorer exit, and maybe Lambo will fancy a move here. Poe and Matt and Leon in the background of your shot there, we're battling as well. Here comes Gornan again, on the back of Lewis, the Finnish driver, steaming up the inside, is he? Still not able to get that move done, and Lewis
holding on a little bit easy, you feel?
Yeah, well, Lewis is placing the car as hard as possible again to get past me. He's at a clear disadvantage at the moment, but that advantage will come back to him in a few laps' time.
Pardon me, yes, it sure will. So 5 tenths then between Blizzard and Cliff at the moment. In fact, 1 tenth it popped up saying there. Yep, 5 tenths it still is between them. There's a slight bit of lag here. Apologies for that if you're watching on the stream. If there's any lag, I'm trying to improve that. I've actually shut down the stream I was watching, so that will hopefully, or the stream on YouTube to hopefully improve that for you. But it's Blizzard in the lead on lap 2 from Cliffy in second. Lewis already dropping back to a second behind these guys. Incredible the pace that Blizzard is showing on the hard so far, as Gordon still tucked up behind. And for the guys on the softs, Gordon, Lambo, Pole and Leon, if they want to make this work, they need to be right on the tail of Lewis and thinking about making a move pretty soon, don't they?
Yes, well, Blizzard's pace on the hards has been very impressive so far. I thought Cliffy would be able to get closer, but although the DRS has been activated now, so we will see really what Cliffy's straight line speed is like.
We sure will then, as Gordon gets tucked up behind Lewis once more. Is he going to be close enough for a move? I don't know if Cliffy will be close enough to take the lead. We'll go to that to start with, see if he is. Doesn't look like it. So let's stick with Gordon then. And Gordon is coming up the inside of Lewis again. First time in the DRS, he's clipped him. Lewis is going round into a spin. Oh! Out goes Lewis, out goes Paul. And that is a real shame. Out goes the hard runner, out goes the soft runner. And Lewis, who started the race on pole position, is out. And that really, Mark, sums up his season. Talk us through that one.
Well, yeah, they didn't get enough room there, and then, well, you know, Poe, his impressive run comes to an end. Nowhere to go for him, and yeah, I'll take him back. I don't know, Gordon maybe went a bit deep on that move, and that's what was resolved. That Leon, I think Gordon might have some damage actually, because he's now being attacked by Leon quite aggressively. Yeah,
and also being attacked is VSR Blizzard. Cliffy's right behind him now, 2 tenths between them. And it was a matter of time, really, before Cliffy makes that move. I have to agree with you. Gordon looked a bit desperate. He looked like he wanted to get that move done quickly. Pardon me, as you'd expect, on those soft tyres, and he wanted to make his race work. He was far too late on the brakes. Careered into the side of of Lewis, and here comes Cliffy now, down the inside of Blizzard, and surely that's the lead. Is it the lead? Look at Blizzard still clinging on those hard tyres. Can he hold on? For now he can, but surely it's a formality down this back straight. Here comes Cliffy once again, almost rubbing wheels. It's the McLaren versus the Mercedes. He dives back to the outside. Blizzard defends it as best he can. Cliffy round the outside, and he's surely through into Brooklands, through Luffield they go, and the fans here at Silverstone are on their feet. What a move from Cliffy through the infield section, and Blizzard, well, he drops to P2. He fought brilliantly, but finally Cliffy's got it done. The big question is, can he stay there? Because look, Blizzard on the grass through there, incredible. As Francis is retired as well.
4 retirements already, but yeah, no, Blizzard, he was a bit too close to the back of Cliffy, going through Cops, and then he nearly came across, but got it slowed down. So Cliffy now, he can scamper off in distance, but the fact is, he's got to hope the rain comes a bit sooner to make this strategy work, because if it doesn't, if it's right at the end of the race, Blizzard is still in the box seat.
Yeah, absolutely. CC Brain, Matt Tibble is battling Leon as well. Gordon they're on a cracking fight. Let's have a look at Gordon and see if he does have wing damage. I thought it was actually, when I saw the spin initially, I thought it was actually Lewis's car that took the damage, and then of course it took even more damage when Paul came along onto the scene. So I'm not sure. I'm having a look at Gordon's wing, and I think it's intact. I think he's got away okay, and he's holding the gap at around 7 tenths to Leon, so everything's going well there. Lambo, meanwhile, he's now on the soft compound tyre, getting himself tucked right up behind Blizzard, and he's the next man to make a move. And this track, like Austria, like France, is really difficult to break the DRS zone, even with the tyre difference, and Cliffy's managed to do that. So can he keep that up and try and scamper away? And as I say that, Blizzard just dips back under a second, but surely through that middle sector, Cliffy will get the buffer he needs, you would think.
Yes, well, you know, Blizzard's constantly having to adjust the bias mid-corner just to get this car around the corner. The hards do take a while to come into their own. But yeah, Lambo, you know, this is more like it from Lambo. He's had a few inconsistent results recently. He started the season so well.
Yeah, he did. You're absolutely right. Again, I must apologise if there's any lag. A few people letting me know about that. Apologies, I can't really do much more at the moment, so hopefully it smooths itself out. But yeah, Lambo, I have to agree with you. He's really had a bit of a poor run of form after he kind of surprised himself, I think, at the start of the season the way he was going. Didn't really have the raw speed, but was so consistent, was so wise, was so clever in the opening races, and picked up a few driver of the days, picked up a few podiums, and yeah, really impressed by Lambo this season. But as you mentioned, not the greatest form in recent races, but can he now get back to his best? And at the moment, looking good in P3, 2 seconds now ahead of Gornanen, the lead soft runner in this race. We've lost Francis, we've lost Poe, we've lost Lewis, we've lost Da Retrix. Poe and of course Lewis, they came together. We're not sure what happened to Francis though. Da Retrix, I think you said he was off at Copse Corner earlier on, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
So there you go, that's what happened to Da Retrix. So Cliffy, 8/10 is lead, not getting away from Blizzard as you'd maybe expect. So things looking really strong for Blizzard if the weather stays like this, aren't they?
Yes, completely. Something I didn't notice was that Novak has lost 7 places, and I'm not sure why. Must have been caught up in something or made a mistake, but he was well up the grids in terms of top 10. Now he's in P11.
Yeah, it's been such a eventful race with the strategy, and there's a few nice moves going on during it, but we've actually missed what's happened to the German there, so I'm not too sure. Let's go back and have a look at CC Brain as he battles with Matt Tibos for P6 and P7. Both these guys on the medium runner. There's actually a trio of them, Matt, CC Brain, and then 2 seconds off Calic Rista on the medium. So the 3 of those guys all running that medium tyre, much like Cliffy up front with a real split of tyre choices. I'm just going to give you the pit stop graphic. Only Neo and June of the guys still running have been in the pits. I presume on the opening lap they had their issues. Well, June was off the road in about 3 corners in the first 4 of them, so that probably explains why he was in the pits when he was. Let's have a little look just in front of this battle at Leon versus Gornanen, because Gornanen, since he was touching with Lewis and bumping him into a spin, he's been struggling to keep up with Lambo, and now Leon fancies a move, doesn't he, going down this straight? So here comes Leon. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Leon on Gornanen, not quite. Gornanen holds firm for now. Such a late apex into that corner, and now he's going to try and undercut Gornanen. Oh, rubbing wheels there, and he's lucky not to damage his front line, but Leon looking really racy, isn't he, Mark?
No, yeah, Leon's looking up. He has it really up for it in recent races, finding his form and his place in this league at the moment. Gornanen really struggling for traction now, Copse there, and Leon surely he's not going to go for a move through this section of the track, but I think he's going to set it up for a move on the DRS now.
Yep, looks like it. Leon right behind Gornanen, and Gornanen got a little bit of the grass there. That's going to hurt his traction. Here comes a Toro Rosso moving to the outside. Side by side they go. Down the hanger straight, down into Stowe. Holding the outside is Leon. Can he drive right round the outside? Yes, he can. Easy there for Leon. The overspeed helped him a little, but still a brave move. And Gornanen, who's had a tough afternoon so far, you have to say, has dropped down behind Leon now, who's on a charge. Leon and Lambo making moves. Blizzard now only half a second behind Cliffy. We'll need to go to that, but this is still a cracking battle. In fact, if you don't mind, Mark, can you have a little look at that battle in front, and I'll stick with this for now. If anything changes, let me know. So
yes, I will for sure.
Okay, well, Leon still holding on here. Gornanen right behind him. Matt there as well. Let's pick up Matt Tibos. He looks really racy as well now. Gornanen under even more pressure. Here comes Matt then. Attacking. Is he going to have a look on Gornanen? Gornanen's busy having a look at Leon. Oh, he'll need to be careful. We know what happened last time Gornanen went for a move there. Now he's deep into Lovefield. Matt's trying to duck underneath him. Can't do it there.
Top two.
Let's go to it. Look at Blizzard on these hard tyres. He's right behind him. This is incredible pace from Blizzard, isn't it?
Yeah, the conditions are cooling off, and that will favour these tyres. So he has started. Oh, and Cliffy picks up time penalties. So the pressure is paying off, and suddenly, all of a sudden, the traction on the front of Cliffy's car seems to be all out of shape. Here comes Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard on the attack then. Here comes the McLaren driver. Surely he's going to have the overspeed. He's down the inside into Stowe corner. Look at Cliffy hanging on round the outside. He's on the AstroTurf. He returns to the circuit. Still side by side as they go down towards Valen Club. Blizzard on the outside of Cliffy. Is he through? Yes, he is. Through the lag, he is through. Apologies again, folks, but lovely move there from Blizzard. He went attacking down towards Stoll, completing the move into Vale. Cliffy's basically pushing him through, Abby. Look at the difference in the speed there. Cliffy carrying all sorts of straight line speed as he go down on lap 9 out of 26 into the braking zone and through the loop. Incredible. Blizzard still edging out Cliffy. What a battle. There's more action further down through the field. We'll go to that in a moment as Cliffy tries to fight back on Blizzard. Blizzard still holding firm. Here comes the Mercedes, closing and closing with the DRS. Not closing quickly enough. And as they reach the brakes down at Brooklands, it's still Blizzard ahead of Cliffy. But Cliffy looks like he could easily respond in this battle, doesn't he?
Yes, he's got very good straight line speed, but that might explain why he's struggling through the middle sector. But look at the straight line speed of this Mercedes. It's like a real life battle between the McLaren and Mercedes here. Yeah,
it is incredible. Cliffy again nearly pushing him through Copse this time. He's going to be close enough to go side by side nearly. Going into this section, Magnussen and Beckett, look at that. Oh, Cliffy doesn't know what dirty air means by the looks of it. Incredible. He's shoving him almost through that section. Now, DRS open again for Cliffy. Is he going to be close enough to line up Blizzard down this straight? And as you mentioned in the previous lap, maybe he's running out of a bit of traction here, Cliffy. Maybe that's his issue. Maybe that's why he's not climbing all over the back of the McLaren in a straight line on that occasion. Coming out of a corner where you need traction, and Blizzard still holding firm. But all this is allowing Lambo and his softs, on soft tyres that should be past their best by now, to close in, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a few more laps for the soft runners until they have to pit. But yeah, it seems to me Blizzard's setup is superior in the slow corners, and then in the faster sections, Cliffy is able to close in on the straight line speed. So it's a very fine balance at the moment. I just hope it doesn't come a cropper. But these two have shown really respect to each other in terms of the space so far. Great battle.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic battle. Remember, Cliffy brought himself to the attention of this World Championship battle with two back-to-back wins. And look at this, he's going down the inside. Here comes Cliffy once again on Blizzard as he threw. Blizzard holding all around the outside, now on the inside through Luffield. They're on their feet down there, the fans. They know a race when they see one. Incredible between these two. As you mentioned, Mark, great respect between them, and Blizzard through again. Cliffy will have to double his efforts while they battle. Look at that, into Copse nearly having a look. Oh, this is just letting Lambo gain and gain and gain, but still Blizzard has the advantage. Look at him, he's shoving him through the corners. It's incredible how close they are. And Cliffy having a look there as he went through the second part of Beckett's, and now through Chapel. DRS open once more, but again Blizzard just seems to get fantastic drive coming out of there, doesn't he?
Yes, I mean he's on the slowest compound, but yeah, his setup and his application of the throttle to get onto the power has been absolutely sensational. That's the only reason he's keeping ahead of a car who, you know, these mediums are still going to go for a while longer before they go off. So it's not as if Cliffy has underperforming tyres. They're still going to be good for a while.
Absolutely, Cliffy right behind him. Lambo right behind him as well. There's fantastic action further down the field, but we can't leave this at the moment. I cannot believe the straight line speed that Cliffy has got. Is he having a look again? I think he is. Down the inside goes Cliffy. Oh, wow. That was risky. He thought better of it. Blizzard trying to, park him on the apex there, was it? Slight lag again, folks. Apologies for that. Now Cliffy has the DRS open. This time, surely, this will be easy pickings. Blizzard is going to defend this one, isn't he? He defends the middle of the road. Cliffy finds the space, steams down the inside. Through Brooklands they go. Still, Blizzard won't give it up. Cliffy tries to hang it right round the outside, improve his traction on the exit by getting on the throttle sooner, and he's finally done it. Cliffy back ahead of Blizzard on lap 11 out of 26, but they're going to go side by side into Copse corner of all places. Close your eyes, folks. That is incredible. Forced out of the cup.
Oh,
Cliffy! He's in the wall. Cliffy's out of the race. All but out of it. And you have to say, they've been battling so hard, so ferociously. It was so exciting. But finally, Copse corner, side by side, you're very likely to come to grief, and that's exactly what's happened to Cliffy.
Oh, a virtual safety car. Wow. Now this could really favour Lambo. If he pits now to get rid of those softs, he can get basically a free pit stop and go on to, well, another fast compound until the rain comes. No, he doesn't pit though.
Ooh, why? Why? What about Leon? No, Gordon M's doing it though.
Gordon M does.
Yeah. Well, good quick thinking there down at Ferrari. He's picked up a 5-second tight stop goal penalty, ignoring yellow flags though. So that might be okay. He might get that stripped back off him, ignoring yellow flags, not for any other reason. Cliffy though, the virtual safety car, well, it's saved his bacon a little bit. It can actually do the same thing, can't he, as Goronen? But obviously his chances of winning are probably gone. But wow, let's talk about that briefly then. Now, hold on, before we do, let's see who else is taking advantage. Bugatti's taking advantage with a pit stop as well. But the virtual safety car is now back in. And as I say that, it's starting to rain.
Oh my goodness, it is.
And Cliffy's retired as well because he's put the hard tyre on in the pit box. I don't believe it. So that maybe explains why Lambo didn't come in, why Leon didn't come in. Because, quite simply, what was the point? They didn't need to. Because they're going to have to come back in anyway in a few laps' time. So, well, can Lambo, during this period, get ahead of Blizzard before the rain gets heavy enough? Because that's where the advantage is at the moment for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to have the performance in those softs to get up to Blizzard. You probably would have hoped for, you know, the two cars ahead of them early in that titanic battle to sort of go deep somewhere and just sneak past them. But no, I don't think he's going to have performance. He's going to have to try and nurse these tyres to the wet. It's going to be really treacherous out there now.
Yeah, absolutely. As Brain against Leon's a cracking battle. Sauce versus medium. You would think the medium tyre on the Brains would be now superior to the tyres that Leon has on his car. So let's keep an eye on that one. Third, fourth and fifth, these guys are tussling over. Matt Till's in there too. He's been just hanging around, hasn't he, in all the battles at the moment. Matt just waiting for his moment as he battles with the Brain, battles with Leon. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Blizzard should be quicker now on his hards and what Lambo is on his softs, and it's showing in the lap time, isn't it?
Yes, he's lost 7 tenths in the first sector alone, so he's definitely nursing those back. But yeah, I mean, Leon's gained 10 places from the start. Liquid Blocks has as well. And Matt Tebos at the moment in P5, he's on for what would be by far his best result of the season. Only his 3rd point score of the season. His best results in the opening race at Australia, which was 8th place, but he's in P5 right now.
Yeah, wow, well, there you go, incredible. The way this race is panning out, as the Brain and Matt continue to apply some pressure on Leon, and these mediums are really starting to work well as the rain continues to fall here at Silverstone. What an opening after the race has been. It's lap 13 and a 26, the halfway point. So much going on, so many different strategies. A collision well, battling for the lead between Cliffy and Blizzard. It's a shame it's happened because it's taken away from the great spectacle a little bit at the front of the field. But they still got this fantastic battle that's taking shape for the podium. Leon versus the Brain versus Matt, and surely the Brain's going to have the run here. Look at this, Leon defends the inside, the Brain goes steaming round the outside. Can he make it stick? Can he make it stick? He'll be on the wet line. There won't be much grip out there, and he has to hold firm in P4 at the moment. Good defensive driving though from Leon. He knew where to put the car and made it difficult for the Brain, didn't he?
Yes, well, Leon, great defending, but you know, Matt Tebos, he fancies a podium today, I think. He's getting closer, but watch out for Liquid Blocks. He's probably on the best tyres right now, the hard compound. Yeah,
incredible. What a battle this is. Look at that. Oh, nearly up the inside there went Matt Tebos. Well, the Brain was looking at Leon. And now look, Matt's going to come steaming in here. And look at Matt, great driving there. He's going to have a huge cutback on the Brain if he doesn't catch him down the straight. And here we go. The Brain is in trouble here. 1 minute he's attacking Leon. Next minute, Matt Tebos is on the charge. Here comes Matt. Not quite close enough to make a move into Brooklands. And I'm actually amazed by that. I thought it was a certainty that Matt would have made the move. It was so clever, his driving through the loop section. He just slingshotted his way out of there by taking a wide entry into the corner. But now look at him, right behind the Brain. Look at this, the Toro Rosso, the Renault, and the Haas driver battling over P3, P4, and P5 as the rain continues to fall. Here at Silverstone, one mistake, one touch of the white line of the curb, and you're off on the wall. That's the delicate, fine balance that these drivers are having to deal with at the moment. It is a balancing act while battling at 200 miles an hour. The Brain still attacking Leon, Matt still attacking them, and Liquid Blocks on the hard tyre, goodness knows how, is still on the back of them as the Brain steams up the inside. He's found a way up the inside this time, but Leon ain't getting it up. He's off the circuit, he's back on again, rubbing wheels as they go down towards Vale, and Lambo's in the pits. Lambo's in the pits. Still they battle, the Brain versus Leon, side by side still, through the final corner, Matt Tebos gets involved, side by side he now goes, with Leon down the straight, the Brain's up to P2, and Matt's up to P3, and Leon's tyre at the cliff. Yeah, Lickle as well, on the hard tyre, on the inside now of Leon. This is for the final podium spot, this is madness. Oh, Leon still trying to give his all. but surely those tyres have hit the cliff. They must be absolutely finished, Mark. But before we go to that, Matt's continuing his charge. Next up on the radar, it's CC Brain. He's going round the outside of the Brain, and the Brain, somehow finds a way to keep him at bay. Whew, this is crazy. What a race. Blizzard out front. Brain, Matt, Lickle, Calic, Leon, all in a fight.
Yeah, Leon needs it to get good for wet tyres, because those softs are absolutely finished. I think a puncture could be imminent for Leon, unfortunately. I'm just keeping an eye on Lambo because he's pitted for Inters, I believe. I'm just going to see what his sector times are. Oh, they don't look that good, to be honest. I don't think it's quite Inters yet. The rain, surprisingly for Britain, is falling very slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that again. It's teasing those soft runners. It's not looking good for Lambo. It's not looking good for anyone out there. Leon, not looking good for Neo either. As the two turn, oh, look at this. Matt and now Lickle blocked on the hard tyre, attacking the medium. So the hard tyres are now quicker than the mediums as well, it would seem. Lickle blocked attacking, but unable to make a move, as Nowek has now found a way past his teammate as well now. So the hard tyre of Nowek making his way back up through as well. This is an incredible race, absolutely brilliant battles throughout the field. The hard tyre's the one to be on at the moment. Blizzard 8 seconds now up the road. Lambo's looking terrible out there. He might have thrown away a podium here. This could be a battle for P2 now, between the Brain, Matt, Lickle, Calic, Nowek, and pretty soon it's me as well. No, he's 10 seconds off. Leon's have finally bailed out and gone on to a set of Inters, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually ahead of Lambo, given how much time Lambo's lost on this lap. But let's focus on the battle further up the front. The Brain versus Matt. It's been really enjoyable up to this point, hasn't it? But hopefully it doesn't all come to a head the way it did at the front in the battle earlier on.
No, I mean, there's just no spray coming with these cars. I just don't think it's into conditions yet. It's got to rain harder than this. The water's just sort of evaporating as soon as it hits the track. So it's desperate time for the soft runners. It really is. And even the medium runners, if it doesn't get wet soon, they're going to be absolutely nowhere.
They sure are. As I thought Matt Timmels' car was about to go flying off the racetrack there. It was just a little bit more lag. Lambo's just lost out to Jim, who's on medium, 13 lap old one. Leon did come out ahead of Lambo. That just shows you how much time Lambo lost on his extra lap on the Inters than Leon. They're both going to be out there struggling like crazy. Let's actually look at that and just give you a representation of the difference in tyre. Look at this, side by side. Jim attacking Leon. It can't be much in it because Lambo's still kind of there, isn't he? Clinging on to that group. So we'll go back to that in a moment. Just to give you an idea briefly. Let's try and find Nowek, who's right behind Calic in the battle for 5th and 6th. Nowek on a recovery drive that we're not really sure why, because he lost, what was it, 7 places we said at the start?
Yes, he did. Jooms just overtaken Leon with ease.
Yep.
So it's on the verge, maybe, but it might be another lap still.
Yep,
they're losing so much time.
Yeah, the medium runners still will be starting to struggle as well now. Forget the soft runners. The medium guys will be struggling. Good decision, by the way, by Corin N coming in on those fresh soft tyres, even when it started raining, because, well, he's probably now, when he makes his pit stop, going to be ahead of Leon and Lambo, isn't he? Who tried that to stay out on them, and by now you would suspect that a puncture would have happened if they'd stayed out. Do you think so?
Yes, I think so. I think, especially in the case of Leon, who was losing place after place, I think he had little choice, really. I think he would have lost more time getting a puncture as Tebos went wide. Cops picks up a penalty, which is why he's right behind CC Brain. He gained time there.
Yep, well, not good for Matt picking up that penalty there. But it's still a fantastic battle between Brain, Matt, Lickle, Calic, Nowek for the final podium spot. I thought P2 now is going to be because of those guys on Inter struggling out there. Lambo and Leon, who had to make that call because, of course, they couldn't take their soft tyres much further. Brain tried to bring Matt into the pits and it worked. It worked. Brain tried to lure him in. So Matt is the first of the medium runners to blink. Matt's in. Calic continues. Brain continues. But everything is pointing towards a good decision to start on hard tyres, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I'm looking at Leon's sector times. He's now 3 seconds behind Joom, and he was only overtaken recently. Still doesn't look ready for the Inters whatsoever.
Yeah, well, that could be a bit of an early misfiring decision there from Matt. Maybe to try, I don't know why he felt the need to do it. He was probably in a really strong position. Maybe in his fight with the Brain, he thought that was the lap, but it clearly isn't. As you say, the guys out there, Leon, Lambo and Neo, on Inters, struggling. So let's see how Matt gets on. He's dropped out into P10, half a second behind Frisky CJ. Oh, it's gone an N, who was running a lot better than what he had been. He's crashed going down the Wellington Straight. So Gone and N now retires. That leaves us with just, what, 14 runners? As Matt now, on Inters, is attacking CJ. So maybe that was the right time. He passes CJ up the inside. CJ trying to tippy-toe around the outside of him and come back on the inside. So there you go. We must be close to the crossover. Does he still go battling? CJ on the hard tyre is ahead again of Matt, but look at the difference in traction now. Side by side they go, and Matt back through on the Inter. Is that confirmation, Mark, that it's time to change?
Yeah, there's finally a little bit of spray coming back. Oh, Tebos! Oh my goodness!
How did he hold on to that? Oh, banging wheels of CJ, who gets his hand out of the cockpit in disgust there, and CJ's now off the road on those hard tyres. And is he starting to aquaplane? Oh, look how close that is. Matt and CJ, wow, absolutely crazy. So the brain is in, Calic's in, it's me's in. They're all feeling it's time for a set of Inters. And is that true? Do you think Matt is ready, has made the right call that lap ago?
Well, judging by that, Dukes have had themselves slide through cops. I'm not so sure. They just needed some cardboard boxes. That was spectacular for Matt Tebos to save it there. But yeah, I think there's more Inter runnings coming in. But those who started on the hards, they are looking in such a good condition right now.
Oh well, there we go. Back out onto the track they come. CC Brain P4. Is he ahead of Matt? Yes, he is. So that kind of tells me that was the right decision from CC Brain. 3.2 seconds. It was not the right decision from Matt. He's lost 3 seconds in that battle. So Blizzard leads, Lickleblock second, Nowek third. When are they going to make the pit stop call? Blizzard going for a 6th win in the opening 10 races. It's looking good for him. How are the hard tyre runners out there? Are they sliding off the road hopelessly on 18 lap old tyres? It looks like they're keeping it on the island for now, but they must be struggling a little bit. But I think they're all going to rejoin 1, 2 and 3 on the racetrack. I think there's 25 seconds between Nowek and CC Brain. We'll see how that one pans out. Blizzard, is he pitting this time? Blizzard's still going out there. Mark, what do you make of that one?
Well, I think he can afford to take the risk because he's got such a gap. Lickle pits actually from P2, and Nowek trying to pull off an incredible recovery given his problems early on in the race.
Yep. In comes Lickle then into the pits, so let's see what he can do. Lickle is in, Blizzard carries on, Nowek P2. I'm really surprised that they're carrying on this long. I thought it would be ready, but I don't think I've seen the message for DRS deactive yet. Have you?
No. It's there is a bit of spray, but it's not critical yet. I think we're very close to it because rain was predicted for the end of the race, but I guess it was more, maybe it meant that it would be ready for wet tyres by the end of the race, not the actual rain itself. Well, there you go then. We'll see how it goes as Blizzard carries on out there. Oh, there you go. There's the message now. DRS disabled. We've got a yellow in sector 3. I'm not sure why. I was actually just about to pick up a battle there as Matt Tebos is going off the road and through the gravel trap on his Inters. Why is that? He's hit the wall somewhere. He's lost half his wing. That's such a shame. Well, that'll explain the yellow flag then. Oh, behind him, Leon goes spinning on his own. How did he do that? Cold Inters. I've never seen that before. It's very rare that you see a car spin on the way into the corner like that. Leon just pirouetted round in the most it looked like one of those pathetic spins where you feel silly after you do it. So Leon gets back going again, and at Cold Inters, I think you're spot on there. Well, he's had them on for 4 laps. I'm surprised they're still freezing cold. So Leon just tippy-toeing his way around then in P9, but no Blizzard, and finally Blizzard! 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pits. You don't expect that from him, do you? No, he should be okay. He's still got a gap. CC Brain, he made the correct call in terms of when to pit for the Inters. Probably one of the few drivers who did, because he's definitely going to be P2 given the gap. But I think Blizzard will probably get away with that stop-go because he won't have to serve it. He'll get 5 seconds taken off. But yeah, he nearly damaged his wing on the pit entry. Well, here he comes, Blizzard on his way back out. In comes Nowek at long last. Where is the Brain in all this then? He's in the final corner. Yeah, I think he is going to get away with this, Blizzard, quite easily. Here he comes out of the pits. He might have to keep his wits about him though. And here he comes. Where is the Brain?
Oh, this could be quite close about whether it's 5 seconds or not. You know that? It could be... I think he's within it. He is within it. CC Brain, 3.8 behind Blizzard. And if he can remain within 5 seconds of Blizzard, I don't know if CC Brain's got any penalties. You can confirm that for us. But if he stays within 5 seconds and he doesn't have any penalties, can the Brain pull off a shock win? That would be incredible. As I drop my glass of water all over the place.
Well, there's enough water on the track already, Andy. We don't need any more of yours. But no, CC Brain, he's pulled off a really good strategy. And have to say, Lickleblocks, what an absolute blinder he's done today. You know, he had a bit of a nightmare quali, but he is now... Oh, how many places is he gained? I'm just trying to figure it out. He's gained 13 places, started P16, so he's definitely a contender for Driver Day along with CC Brain.
Absolutely, and Lickleblocks himself, if he can keep up his pace, he might fancy getting himself within 5 seconds of the leader as well. So, let's see how it goes for him. But Blizzard has just got to put the boot down and see what he can do. Remember, folks, vote for your driver of the day. Let us know who your tip is for driver of the day. There is the position change. There's plenty of them. Lickle up 13. The Brain's up 6. Calyx up 11. It's Me's up 12. Lormans is up 10 on what I believe is his debut. Leon's up 5. Siege is up 9. Incredible the amount of changes. It really has been a fantastic race, hasn't it, Mark?
Yes, it really has. But the common theme is that, as ever, Blizzard, apart from that little stop go, and he's already gaining quite a bit of pace on CC Brain. So I think he'll get away with that stop go.
Yep, 4.6 now. The Brain needs to put in, has to be said, the performance of his life to stay within touch of VSR Blizzard. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Blizzard still leading this race, and I think there's a battle about to develop for P4 and 5. There's been battles developing all race long, and it's Calyx versus Nowek. Nowek on a bit of a... Oh! Oh! Now then, Blizzard, 3 second time penalty. What does that do to things?
Well, he's got to find another 3 seconds in 4 laps. Otherwise, CC Brain has no penalties whatsoever. So CC Brain's got to try and Lickle.
Oh, no,
it's also still in the mix.
Oh, no, never mind. That was lag. Apologies, Mark, for coming across you there. No X car on my screen. Just an enormous moment and into the wall. But no, it was just lag. But yeah, carry on with what you were saying. 3 seconds he has to find. Our Brain's going to do it, isn't he?
Yep, he's got to be 8 seconds ahead at least. But he's only got, well, he's got 4 laps at the end of this one. It's just going through the Vale now in Club Corner, so he's got to get a move on. But Lickle could still be in the box seat for this as well.
So what's Lickle's penalty situation? Sorry.
Let me check for you, Andy. He has a penalty. So really, realistically, if CC Brain can just not lose too much time in the next 4 laps, he could pull off an absolutely incredible victory here.
Would it be worth letting Lickle go and sticking to him rather than battling with him? That's a question that would come to mind. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't do that though. He'd want to stay ahead, and it wouldn't be easy to overtake as easy as it was earlier in the race, because DRS is no longer active. Generally in real life Formula 1, it becomes easier in damp conditions to overtake. I wouldn't say so in the game, and Mark, would you agree with that?
It is a lot harder to overtake here when it's wet conditions like this, and you know, Lickle seems to have a bit more performance in him for that penalty. But yeah, once again, you know, if Blizzard ends up winning this race, I mean, once again it's been a nightmare race for its title contenders. You know, Joom in 10th, Cliffy out of the race, Lambo only in P7 at the moment, Francis out of the race, Novak in P5. So it's that consistency. That's what the difference is at the moment.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. 6 seconds now. The Brain is losing time. Blizzard might be able to salvage this yet as the World Championship leader with 5 wins in the opening 9 races tries to pull clear. If he can't do it himself, Blizzard, he might have a friend, an ally in Lickleblocks. who could really get himself involved in this here and mess things up for the Brain. The Brain needs to stay within 8 seconds of Blizzard. It'll become even harder to do that if a certain Ferrari of Lickleblocks decides to get himself involved. That will be one to watch on lap 24 out of 26, and it seems to be raining a lot harder as well now, Mark, even harder than it was in qualifying.
It was. I mean, I'm just looking Blizzard going through the loop, and he's, you know, we saw his excellent traction when he was on the hards, but he's finding it much more difficult in these conditions.
Yeah, this is incredible. I'm really enjoying this race. Probably the race of the season so far. Blizzard still leads. The gap isn't going up as much as it was. The Brain versus Lickle. And at the moment, the damp conditions are helping the Brain. It's not easy for Lickle to get onto the tail of him. Is it easy for Nowek to get onto the tail of Kalik though? Battle for 4th and 5th going on there as well. Action everywhere in this fantastic British Grand Prix. Round 10 of the championship. Here in ILR1 on PS4. Don't go anywhere. It's been a cracker. We've had a few people letting us know about their driver of the day. One person said Sirotkin, get in the bin. Not happening. Other people, we've had Lickleblocks suggested as well, which is kind of really hard to argue with. But what if the Brain wins this race? We've got a yellow in sector 1. Not sure why, but let's stick with Nowek and the wall of spray looking at the back of Kalik, the Finnish driver. Just in front of him is the German. And that Toro Rosso going to line up a move here. No DRS, remember, but he's tucked right up behind the Alfa Romeo Sauber and looks like he fancies a move going down into Stowe. He'll need to be brave if he does. Thinks better of it. Kalik's a little bit deep into Stowe. Can he slingshot his way out of it here and into Vale to make a move? Doesn't look likely, as Blizzard is on his penultimate lap and the gap is 6.7. Kalik though, very deep through Vale, and now he's got Nowek all over his case through Club and across the line. Surely a move is coming there soon as well, Mark.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Kalik is on for by far his best result of the season. He's had a torrid time in that Sauber, but even 5th place would be an outstanding result for the Sauber drivers. He goes really deep into turn 3.
Yeah, really deep. Kalik under so much pressure. Nowek, surely this time, as Blizzard nudges above 7 seconds. Can he do it? Whoa, Kalik, the rear end all over the place. Nowek surely is going to have him. Is he a sitting duck or a swimming duck in these conditions? Here comes Nowek, round the outside of Kalik. Kalik cuts across him, brakes later, holds the line. Into Luffield they go, the rain pouring down, the British fans loving it here at Silverstone. They don't care, rain or shine. Still, Nowek is stuck behind Kalik. The Brain fights back, it's back under the 7-second margin. As we get ready to start the final lap up at the front of the race, still Nowek behind Kalik, still no way through for him, as Matt picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. And he really has faded out of this Grand Prix with that decision to go on to Inters when he did.
Yeah, so it's a real shame. He was in the fight for a podium earlier on, but it just shows you if you make the wrong call for the wet tyres when the rain comes down, it can be a complete end to your chances of getting onto the podium.
Here comes Nowek again then on Kalik. Kalik's deep this time. Nowek has a chance. There's a route up the inside there. He throws the car into the gap, and surely this time he's through. Side by side, into Vale they go. Nowek, the German, steams round the outside of the Finnish driver and finally takes P4. Vital move there from Nowek. He's taken the place. It's now 7.2 up front. Can Blizzard find 8/10 anywhere on this final lap? That will be the battle to go to in a moment. We will watch it as soon as we finish this first sector here. Can Kalik do anything to respond to Nowek? At the moment, it doesn't look likely. Kalik needs a fine run.
Half a second Blizzard needs now. I'm just going to keep an eye on Blizzard in case he tries to cut a corner or something. I'll let you know if he's trying to, you know, do some illegal methods of winning this race. Hopefully not, and I'm sure Blizzard wouldn't want it any other way.
And here we go then, outboard with Blizzard. The final lap of this race. Can he find 3.5, 4/10 of a second? And oh, he's pushing! Oh, the rear end was gone there for Blizzard. Surely there's time lost there. Somehow he hasn't. He's still 7.7. The Brain needs a fine sector. He needs a really strong sector. Blizzard though, surely he has lost time. 7.4.
He has 3/10.
Yeah, this has got to be it. The Brain, is he on for a famous victory here at Silverstone? Incredible. Blizzard, he's won 5 out of the first 9 races this season, but a pit stop mistake on the way in speeding and a 3-second time penalty might have ended that. He's won the race on the track. Unsafe stop go, there it is. Here comes CC Brain. I don't believe this. He's done it. The Renault, CC Brain.
He's done it.
He's done it. The professor, the man with the brains. He has come up with a plan and has won the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Incredible. DNF 11th, 7th, DNF, DNS, DNF 4th, 10th, DNF first here at Silverstone. That's Brain's record, and he will be jumping for joy. CC Brain wins the British Grand Prix, one of the races of the season, Mark. What do you have to say about that? Incredible.
Oh, well, Blizzard, he'll be kicking himself. He's really thrown away what would have been a comfortable victory with 2 mistakes in the rain. But, you know, he's still going to be gaining a lot of points. But, you know, we have to say, CC Brain, what a drive from him today. He kept his cool. He was losing time, but then he put in a great final lap to take it by just over half a second. What
a drive. CC Brain wins here at Silverstone. VSR Blizzard is second. Third for Lickleblocks. What a performance from him as well. Driver of the day, folks. Let me hear it. I mean, we're only going to nominate 2 here, aren't we? We've got to nominate the Brain. I mean, Lickleblocks. Calic as well. P4. What a result for him as well. I don't know who should be driver of the day, but let's hear your thoughts, folks, there on your driver of the day. But let's just quickly recap. What a race. CC Brain, the German driver, winning at Silverstone in the rain. He started from P8, I believe it was, on the grid. I'm quite sure when he woke up from his bed this morning, he didn't expect to come home and win the British Grand Prix. He delightfully sprays the champagne up on the top step of the podium. Blizzard, well, it's another day where he extends his lead in the championship with his rivals falling all around him. I have to say it's looking strong for him in the championship now. But when you get races like that, who needs a championship battle? Lickleblocks with a brilliant drive to P3. What a race here at Silverstone. CC Brain wins. Blizzard second, Lickleblocks third from 16th on the grid. Calic Rist came from 15th on the grid to finish P4. Another strong performance there. Nowek finished in P5, a race that might have been for him having his early troubles. It's Me comes from 18th to finish 6th. Lambo finished 7th where he started. I think it's very rare to see that in this field today, a bit like Blizzard finishing in P2 as well. Leon P8 from P13. Lormans gets P9. What a drive from the Dutchman. And Zoom finished in P10, the final point for the Sauber driver. So I'm going to ask you, who is your driver of the day, Mark, after that one? What a race.
Oh, so many choices. I mean, even Lormans there for 19th to get into the points. Another great drive today. You know, some falling, some great results from those who haven't typically been up to the higher end of it. But yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Lickle. You know, outside the top 10 to the podium, it's hard to look beyond that.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Let's have a quick look at what people are saying here. We've got someone saying Lickleblocks and Calic. Scott Blackford Reeves saying that. We've got who else in here chatting? Calic driver of the day. Danny. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Owen Wyatt says Calic in there as well. Few people mentioning Lickle, Matt as well. Interesting, but I really enjoyed that race, and I think it's time to get the guys in for the interviews. So CC Brain winning the race here, and I think he barely even got a mention for driver of the day. He came from P8 to win this one after a season of ups and downs, and you've got to be really happy for him as well, Mark. What a result. Yep, sure was. Oh, thanks for getting them invited. I was in the process of doing it. I don't actually think anyone heard you when you were speaking there because I was trying to invite. I've actually forgot all about that. But yes, they're all here. The 3 podiums, sitters after that. Breathtaking, stunning, incredible British Grand Prix. Let's start with CC Brain. It has been a struggle at times this season. Ups, downs, non-finishes, did not starts. The best result to this point of P4 back in Canada. But today, you've won in Isla 1, CC Brain. The Professor has found a way to win. Talk us through it.
Um, yeah, feel delighted. More downs than ups this season, so I wasn't even expecting something when I started today, but I think I was checking on the race engineer how many penalties Blizzard has, and he said 3.0 seconds, so I wasn't even expecting to win. And then he got the 5 second stop go, so.
So that was that. So how did you feel then about the tyre strategy? It was a tough one going into this race. Do you go hard with the rain? Do you go medium? Do you go soft? What made you make your decision? What tyre did you go for again, Blizzard? Sorry, Brain, I forget. Did you go for the hard tyre? Was it the hard or the medium?
No, I was going for the mediums.
Medium, sorry.
I was never gonna touch the hards, in my opinion. They're too slow. And I knew the rain was coming earlier than it showed us, so I was going for the mediums, and then hopefully to go with a one-stop, which worked. And yeah.
And how were the medium tyres around the time of your pit stop? Were they starting to go off a little bit? Do you feel the hard tyre was faster at the end when the rain was coming down, or was the tyre still okay?
I think the tyre was still okay. I think they were equal with the hards, but I felt like last lap it was too slow for me to stay on the dry tires, so I was going to the pits and worked out quite well.
And how do you go from here then? I mean, an incredible win today. You said it yourself, you weren't even expecting it until you crossed the line. I mean, it was a big surprise, incredible. Second half of the season, 11 races to go, 10 down. I mean, can you do it again? Can you continue this form that you've begun and try and pick up more strong results?
I don't know. I don't think so, because I got very lucky today. Many top drivers crashed out today, which I don't see happen again.
Okay. Well, congratulations, CC Brain, on the win. The mastermind. He's found a way to win. Well done, the German driver here at Silverstone. Let's go to our championship leader, VSR Blizzard, who has won 5 out of the opening 10 races. Half the races won. Blizzard, it could have been 6 today. How do you feel after that?
Well, fine. I mean, it's the second place. I'll take any points I can get. I'm still getting ahead of Tune. Just annoying, really, running wide at Luffield and getting a warning for it.
Okay. Talk us through the battle with Cliffy. I mean, it was exciting. It was enjoyable. We were loving it earlier on in the race. Then there was contact between the two of you on the exit of Copse. Just talk us through what happened. Did Cliffy just lose the rear end on his own, or was there slight contact between you? How did you see it?
Well, from my opinion, there was a gap on the inside, so I felt like I could go for it perfectly side by side. He ran a bit wide. I think I did push him midway through the corner to force him a bit wide, but I left him room on the exit so he could come back on, and he just was like weaved on the track and hit me. So
no need to be worried about a stewart's inquiry there. You feel Cliffy fully at fault. So well, that's another second place, as you say. Your championship rivals, or if you can call them that now, really not picking up any sort of strong results. Really extending that championship advantage now, going into the next race. You've got to feel really confident that you're going to win this championship now, surely.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer the last half of the season, so I'm hoping to get more wins maybe, and win the championship.
And what about Lewis today? He seemed to get the upper hand in qualifying trim. Do you think he could have been another, again like in France, could have been a major threat to you in the race, or do you think that start that you made was decisive? Obviously you went on to finish second, but I mean, I would love to have seen you versus Lewis. How did you feel the race pace was against Lewis, perhaps?
I don't think he dropped off quite a bit on the hards at the start, so I don't think he warmed them up enough, and then he got in the battle, and then he couldn't really do much about that.
Speaking about those hard tyres, briefly, I want to ask you, how bad are they? I mean, how difficult is it to get temperature in them? Because, obviously they talk about tyre temperatures a lot now in the game and things like that. I mean, people moan about overheating them. Is it genuinely that hard with a hard tyre to actually get them up to temperature? Is that the main issue there?
No, my tyres are actually perfectly fine. They felt the exact same the entire race, other than when I got there. They felt the best when I got behind Cliffy, obviously, because of the DRS and slipstream and stuff. But they felt perfectly fine throughout the entire race. They felt exactly the same from lap 1 onwards. Okay, well, congratulations on P2. I mean, unlucky not to get the victory today, but a strong position in the championship as we move into the second half of the season. Well done. Let's go on to Lico. Now, Lico,
driver of the day performance from some would say, gaining so many places to find a way onto the podium. It's been a bit of a nightmare season for you. It must be good to finally get something decent on the board this season.
Yeah, definitely starting P16. I knew the hards were going to be the best strategy to go for. And to be honest, when I came across the line, the biggest smile gleamed on my face. I was so happy with it. Finally get a podium after the horrid season I've had. Feels really good.
What do you put your horrible run of form down to? Has it just been bad luck, mistakes on your part, or lack of pace? What would you put it down to mainly? I mean, you've picked up form slightly since the opening 5 races. You've been in the points in every race. Okay, not at the sharp end necessarily, your first podium of the season, but you must be feeling better now. What caused the poor form to start with?
Well, I can say at the start of the season I had good pace. It was I weren't concerned about the pace or anything. I say some of it was due to being bad luck, some to do with me bottling it. Tracks like Australia and Spain, where I could have got the victory. I was unfortunately taken out, so that happened. But then tracks like Bahrain and Baku, I just bottled it myself. So yeah, I say it's pace is not something I didn't need to worry about. It was the mixture of them two.
And how do you feel going forward now? I mean, you said a huge smile on your face at the end of that one. 11 races to go. We're just touching the halfway point, you could say. Do you think you can get on the podium more often and maybe pick up that first victory of the season? Is that something you have on your mind?
Yeah, definitely. I feel there's no point racing if you don't think you can challenge for a victory. Just got to go out there, give it the best you can. Every season I've been there, I've at least picked up one victory, so I'm going to try continue that momentum and get a victory by the end of this season.
And what about today then? I mean, overtaking, having fun out there, getting past so many cars, finally getting that clean race. Was there a favourite moment in the race, a favourite move that you made at any point on your way through to P3?
Yeah, I have to say on Nowak, I think it was, or Nowak or Kalik, one of the two. We were, in fact, side by side into Magnus and Beckett's like last season. He was slightly behind, but this time I was on, I don't know, the right side on the entrance, and I just kept my nose in there and just kept that move going there. So I feel that was my favourite part of the race, to be honest.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Lickle, on finally getting that podium. A really happy podium today with the Brain getting the victory, Blizzard extending the championship advantage, and you getting your first podium of the season. That rounds it off, folks, for the British Grand Prix. It has been a cracker, probably the race of the season so far. A virtual safety car mixing things up, a little bit of rain, and a shock winner in CC Brain. Be sure to join us again for more thrilling action as we go to the German Grand Prix next time out. Can CC Brain shock us all again and win his home race? We'll find out at the same time next week, 5:30 on Sunday. That's all from me, that's all from Mark, that's all from the guys on the podium. Good night, we'll see you then.